SoFi stock pumped hard last week on the earnings report, but then dropped again for the rest of the week. This is exactly what I had predicted in last week's video, and congratulations to everyone who made over 100% on Monday on options calls. In this video I will analyze SoFi stock and give you my thoughts on what is happening right now and whether this is time to buy or sell SoFi. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. SoFi stock has dropped again, and in this video I will explain why it happened, but why SoFi could bounce back stronger than ever and why this might start sooner than you think, so keep watching until the end. And let me know if you agree with my analysis in the comment section below. I will try to answer the most important questions. When is the best time to buy SoFi stock? Before we get into the video, I want to thank all you guys who watched my January videos. After taking such a long break from YouTube, it was good to hear from so many of you. So help the channel out and smash the thumbs up. This literally costs nothing, but not only does it help me out, but it shows me that you want to see more SoFi analysis videos. Can we get another 300 likes on this video? Let's make it happen. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. I will be doing regular stock videos again for the rest of the year. Finally, I want to point out that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Now let's get straight into it. SoFi Technologies delivered a profit as promised. Is it time to buy? Now this is an interesting article which highlights a couple of very interesting points. So I'll take a quick look through this, and there's a link to the full article in the description for anyone who wants to have a read of this in full. First of all, this highlights the effect of SoFi's recent earnings report. For years, SoFi has been able to point to positive adjusted EBITDA. A lot more investors started paying attention to SoFi in early 2023 after it began guiding towards GAAP profitability. And while Wall Street expected 0.0 EPS, SoFi actually recorded 0.2. But SoFi is expecting the economy to contract slightly in 2024 and for several interest rate cuts during the year. Now I did speak about this in my previous video, how management have always seemed to guide on the safer side by kind of keeping their expectations and their guidance quite low. In a way, they are guiding in case of the worst case scenario, and then they end up beating expectations on every occasion. I highlighted this in my last video before the earnings report, that management have beaten the expectations every single time since going public. And now management expects to earn between 7 and 8 cents per share this year on the GAAP basis, but they are actually expecting between 55 and 80 cents by 2023. Now if SoFi are able to hit these targets over the next 2 years, then that would be a 10x of earnings per share in just 2 years, going from around the 8 cent expected this year up to 80 cent. But then management are also expecting this to grow by about 20% per year after that. Which leads to the very important question of, is SoFi a stock to buy now? And the numbers are very interesting. SoFi increased its tangible book value by $334 million last year, up to $3.5 billion at the moment, with the expectation to grow this by another $300 million at least this year. But keep in mind that this is a company that has a current market capitalization of $7.7 billion, which is more than 2 times its book value. And I'll speak a bit more about this later on in the video. But right now, for comparison, as it says here, shares of JP Morgan, America's largest bank by book value, currently trade at 2.15 times its current book value. But unlike SoFi that is valued at $7 billion, JP Morgan is valued at over $500 billion. SoFi is intent on becoming a top 10 financial institution. At its current pace of membership growth, this could happen in about a decade and make today's shareholders very wealthy in the process. Despite its recent run-up, this is still a good stock for relatively young investors with a higher tolerance for risk to buy. And I will look deeper at this in a moment when I look at the charts and what analysts think of SoFi stock. But before we look at the charts to analyze the best entry point, guys, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and hit the thumbs up. It really helps the channel and it shows me that you want to see more SoFi content. Now when we look at market beat, a few things become very obvious very quickly. First of all, the stock is trading in the lower half of both its 50-day range and 52-week range, and that the average trading volume has increased a lot over the past few weeks. There is also 13% of the float that is sold short, so although this is far too low to see a short squeeze, this is something to keep in mind. Looking at the most recent analyst ratings, we can see that analysts have been slashing their price targets, and this is very interesting. The most recent of these is Morgan Stanley, dropping from $7 to $6.50, which is the lowest price target that this stock has ever received. Now, this comes at a time when SoFi is performing better than it has ever performed before and finally turning profitable. So back when SoFi had only a fraction of its customers and were making huge losses, these very same analysts were giving price targets north of $30 for this stock. So something seems very odd about these recent price targets that are being cut down to lower than the stock price itself right now. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments below. Looking at the charts, we can see that SoFi stock has very strong level of support at about $7.50. Anytime the stock has dropped below this, the shares have been snapped up, and it's been back above this level within 3 or 4 days. Even when SoFi dropped to its 52-week low in November, it was back above this support level within just 10 days. Now, like I said last week, there is a very strong level of resistance at about $8.50, and the next level to break would be about $9.20. So after the earnings release, SoFi stock broke above $8.50 but failed to meaningfully break the $9.20 resistance. Now, in my opinion, there is a lot more upside than downside for SoFi stock right now. Despite the fact that analysts are cutting their price targets, I think that they are underestimating the latest earnings report and the positive growth figures. And even after the stock dropping again this week, the support level of $7.50 remained strong. After hitting this level early on Friday, the stock quickly rallied back to its current price. SoFi Q4 proving all the naysayers wrong. Now, this is an article on Seeking Alpha. If you want to have a quick look at this, I won't read the whole article. I have put a link to this in the description below. Also, check out the first link in the description below. If you are not already signed up to Seeking Alpha, you can sign up using my referral link and get up to 50% off a yearly subscription. At the moment, Seeking Alpha are giving a free 7-day trial, so check this out. If you don't like it, then cancel it within 7 days at no cost. Personally, I love the number of articles that are on here and give a lot of different perspectives on stocks, so check out Seeking Alpha using the link below. SoFi's Q4 earnings report showed significant revenue and growth momentum. The firm achieved GAAP profitability for the first time and expects $100 million in GAAP earnings in full year 2024, which I've already talked about. And shares could revalue up to $15, and now I think that this is very optimistic if talking about the short term, but in my opinion this is very possible in the medium term. So we can see here that SoFi smashed all the top line figures during the quarter. New member additions of nearly 600,000 in Q4, which is an increase of 44% year over year. Massive increases in financial service products and lending products of 45% and 24% respectively year over year. And of course, huge improvements in the net revenue and quarterly adjusted EBITDA, as well as achieving GAAP profitability. So skipping down here to SoFi's valuation and upside potential, which I consider to be very interesting. Guys, there was a lot more in this article. I've literally skipped to pretty much near the bottom. So check out the link in the description if you want to take a full read of this. This article is only a couple of days old. Based off the new full year 2024 growth forecast, I believe SoFi could generate $2.7 billion in revenues this year and $3.5 billion next year, assuming the same year-over-year growth rates of approximately 30% annually. Applying a 4x revenue multiplier to these estimated revenue figures implies a fair value market cap of $14 billion. SoFi currently has a market cap of less than $7.5 billion, implying a fair value of $15. A 4x ratio also seems reasonable considering that SoFi has traded at a higher valuation in the past, and fintech startup Upstart is also trading at near 4x price to revenue ratio. PayPal stock is cheaper than SoFi, but doesn't have the account growth momentum that SoFi has. I still like PayPal, however, and believe represents extremely deep value for investors. Now, this is something that I very strongly agree with the author on. I think that PayPal at the moment is incredible value, and I plan to make a PYPL stock video in the coming days. If this is something that you would like to see, then drop a comment below. Now, of course, like every stock, there are risks associated with SoFi, but a lot of the risks that have been talked about in the past have subsided recently with the guidance for profit and achieving and achieving profitability for the first time. So skipping down here to the final thoughts, SoFi submitted a very decent earnings report for Q4 that has proved the naysayers wrong. Unfortunately, the momentum faded very quickly, but SoFi is in a very strong position with accelerating top-line momentum, a strong financial outlook for the year, as well as guidance for massively expanding GAAP profitability in full year 2024. Shares have considerable EPS revision potential in 2024, and I see a clear path for SoFi's share to revalue significantly higher if the company continues to execute on its growth plan. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you've watched all the way through and enjoy my content, then please hit the like button, it really helps the channel out. And if you're new, hit the subscribe button and bell notification, follow me on Twitter if you would like to see another update video soon. Nothing in my videos is financial advice in any way, I'm not a financial advisor, but thanks for watching and I'll catch you in the next one.